Thank you.
على حب الحسين صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، يا غريب يا شهيد كربلاء، فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولما توجه تلقاء مدين قال عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Illuminate your hearts and minds with a loud salawat. The greatest journey that has inspired us is the journey of Imam Hussain alayhi salam from Medina to Mecca to Karbala. This is the journey that has transformed us. This is the journey that has inspired millions of people throughout history. For many of us, we are familiar with the journey of Imam Hussain alayhi salam in Karbala. When he arrived Karbala, what happened? On the 10th of Muharram, the day of Ashura, the events that unfolded, many of us are familiar with those details. But what are the details of Imam Hussein's journey before Karbala? How did Imam Hussain alayhi salam leave the city of Medina? Under what circumstances? Where did he go? Because we know that it took about 6 months from the day that Yazid came to power and he imposed himself on the Muslim Ummah until the day of Ashura. What happened during those 5 or 6 months? Where did Imam Hussain alayhi salam spend most of his time when he left the city of Medina? Therefore tonight, I will share with you some inspiring details from the journey of Imam Hussain alayhi salam from Medina to Mecca. How did the Imam alayhi salam leave his hometown, the city of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Where did he go after that? Where did he spend several months before going to Karbala? Imam Hussain alayhi salam lived in the city of Medina. That was his hometown. And when his brother Imam al-Hassan was martyred, he received many letters from Iraq asking him to go and be their leader. Oh Imam, come, we're waiting for you. We will stand behind you. Let's fight Muawiyah. Muawiyah at the time, he was still ruling. Imam Hussain refused. He said, no. My brother Al-Hassan made a peace treaty with Muawiyah, and I will respect that peace treaty. I'm not going to violate it. So for now, I have no intention of rising. However, if Muawiyah dies, I can reassess. So we come now to the year 60 in the Hijri calendar. We come to the month of Rajab. In the month of Rajab, year 60, Muawiyah dies. The news reaches Medina that Muawiyah died, and he has installed his son Yazid as the next ruler, the next Khalifa. Yazid sends a letter to his governor in Medina. Who was the governor in Medina at the time? Al-Walid ibn Utbah ibn Abu Sufyan, the grandson of Abu Sufyan. So you had a member of the Umayyad family. He was Yazid's cousin. He was ruling Medina. Yazid sends him a letter. He tells him, I want you to summon Hussein, and you have to force him to give me allegiance. Don't let him slip. Make sure you secure the allegiance, the bay'ah from Hussein. So Al-Walid ibn Utbah, he summons Imam Hussain alayhi salam to his palace, the palace of the governor. The Imam tells him, what do you want from me? He tells him, as you know, as you've heard, Muawiyah died, and now the ruler, the Khalifa, is Yazid, his son. And I have direct orders from the Khalifa to secure your allegiance. So here I want you now to give your bay'ah to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. What was the response of Imam Hussain alayhi salam? The Imam alayhi salam said his famous words, his famous statement. He told him, Inna ahlu bayt al-nubuwah wa mawdi' al-risala wa mukhtalafu al-malaika. Do you know who I represent? Do you know from which household I come? We come from the Ahl al-Bayt, the source of prophethood. The angels visit our homes. ويزيد رجل فاسق شارب الخمر قاتل النفس المحترمة معلن بفسقه. Yazid is a despicable man. He openly commits sins. He's a drunkard. He kills innocent souls. ومثلي لا يبايع مثله. And someone like me shall never give allegiance to someone like Yazid. I refuse. He tries to pressure Imam Hussain alayhi salam into giving allegiance, but the Imam alayhi salam utterly refuses. He leaves the house of the governor, the palace of the governor, and the Imam realizes that he cannot stay in Medina. If I stay in Medina, they will try to force me to give bay'ah to Yazid. I have to leave now. So the Imam gathers his family, Zainab and the woman and the children. We have to start our journey now. So the journey of Karbala starts in the month of Rajab in the city of Medina, specifically on the 27th of Rajab, which is a very significant day. If you dissect the journey of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the dates surrounding this journey, you will find that even the dates are significant. Do you know what the 27th of Rajab is? In our Islamic calendar, why is this date significant? It's the Mab'ath. It marks the day the Prophet ﷺ officially received revelation in the cave of Hira, when the Quran was revealed for the first time. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. That occurred on the 27th of Rajab. And so subhanallah, by choosing that day, it's as if Imam Hussain alayhi salam is telling the world, on this day Quran was revealed. Islam was given to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on this day, this Islam has to be saved. So the Imam gathers his family. He goes to the grave of his grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. He farewells the grave of his grandfather. He asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection, for guidance. And on the 27th of Rajab, he leaves the city of Medina. As the Imam alayhi salam was leaving the city of Medina, he made a very famous statement. Many of you have heard the statement, but that's when he made it. As he was leaving the city of Medina, the Imam alayhi salam said, "Inni lam akhruj ashiran wala batira, wala zaliman wala mufsida." I'm not rising as someone who's bringing corruption or injustice, someone who's disrupting society. No, that's not my intention. That's not my goal. So what is your goal, O Aba Abdullah? وَإِنَّمَا خَرَجْتُ لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاحِ فِي أُمَّةِ جَدِّي. I am rising to seek reform in the nation of my grandfather. أَنْ آمُرَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَأَنْهَى عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. I want to enjoin the good, forbid the evil. I want to defend the oppressed, secure their rights. I want to fight injustice and oppression. وَأَسِيرَ بِسِيرَةِ جَدِّي صلى الله عليه وآله وأبي علي ibn Abi Talib. All I want to do is continue the path of my grandfather and my father Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he officially leaves the city of Medina and he heads south to the city of Mecca. He's now with the women, the children. He takes all of them. The journey from Medina to Mecca takes about 5 or 6 days. It's a 300-mile journey. And according to reports, the Imam alayhi salam arrives the city of Mecca on the 3rd of Sha'ban, which is also another significant date. What's the 3rd of Sha'ban? That's the birth of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. That was his birthday. So he arrives the city of Mecca on his birthday. Look at the significance behind all of these dates in the journey of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. One report tells us when the Imam approached the city of Mecca and he saw the mountains of Mecca, the Imam alayhi salam recited verse 22 of Surah Al-Qasas. وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ. He quoted a verse from the tongue of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Prophet Musa alayhi salam, when confronted with the Pharaoh in Egypt, he had to flee. He left Egypt and he was heading towards Madian, the city of Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam. Musa had to save his life because they wanted to kill him. So what did Musa say? He said, "Oh Allah, I ask you to guide me to the straight path. Oh Allah, you help me in confronting the tyrant of my time, the Pharaoh." Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam quotes this verse. This is significant because Imam Hussain alayhi salam is going through a similar experience over here. Musa stood against the tyrant of his time. Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood against the tyrant of his time as well, Yazid ibn Muawiyah. It gets more interesting than that. Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he knew that Allah would help him, but he didn't know how. He had no army to confront the Pharaoh. He was the most powerful ruler at the time. You, Musa, you have no one with you. How are you going to bring him down? Musa said, "Oh Allah, I rely on you. I know that you will find a way out for me." And subhanallah, we see the miracle in the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. When he goes back to Egypt and he shows the Pharaoh all those signs, he rejects every sign and he chases Musa and his people to kill them. They reach a dead end. They reach the sea. Imagine, the sea is in front of you. You're with your people. The tyrant with a massive army is chasing you from behind. Where do you go? The companions of Prophet Musa alayhi salam told him, it's over for us, game over. We're dead meat right now. The Pharaoh is behind us, a massive army. The sea is before us. There is no way we can escape. What did you do to us? Did you not promise us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help us? He's going to save us? What happened? Musa told them, no, the Pharaoh cannot reach us. How? Tell us. Are we going to fly? Is the earth going to swallow us? I don't know, but I know that Allah is with me. كَلَّا إِنَّ مَعِيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينَ. Allah is with me. He'll find a path He's promised. And when they lost hope and they were doubting the power of God, that's when Allah split the sea open for them. And He saved Musa and He destroyed Fir'aun. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is quoting this verse. Yes, Yazid is cornering me. He's trying to destroy Islam, but Allah will find a way to save this religion. And this is a beautiful verse for us to always reflect on. Whenever you're about to embark on a difficult journey, a difficult task, you have to make a very important life choice. It could be marriage, it could be choosing your career, it could be anything. As long as you are obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, leave the outcome with God. The beauty of dealing with God is that you don't have to decide the outcome. You just put in the effort. The outcome is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He'll find a way out. He has promised, I will find a way out for you. You don't need to worry about that. Don't stress over that. Don't lose sleep over a way out. As long as you're sincere, you're putting in the required effort, leave the rest with Allah. He'll work in mysterious ways to eternalize you and to give you a legacy and to make you successful. Yes, sometimes we fail because of laziness, because of mistakes. We are held accountable for that. But sometimes you honestly do what any responsible person would do. You're doing your part. Still not working. You tried your best to keep that job position. You still got fired. It's okay. At that point, smile. Sometimes when there's nothing you can do about it, you've done what you were able to do, but it didn't work. Just sit back and relax and realize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fully in charge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decide the outcome for you. So Imam Hussain alayhi salam recites this verse as he enters the city of Mecca. Now there's an important question here. Why did Imam Hussain alayhi salam choose Mecca out of all cities? Yazid is chasing him. He's getting cornered. There is a lot of pressure on him to give bay'ah to Yazid. Why go to the city of Mecca? Now some of you will say, well, obviously the city of Mecca has the Kaaba. It's a holy city. That would be a good choice. Well, if you go back during the time of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Mecca was actually a very hostile city to the family of Ahlul Bayt. Mecca was the stronghold of Quraysh. The Quraysh were comprised of 25 tribes. One of those tribes is the Bani Hashim, the Prophet's tribe. But you had 24 other tribes. Those 24 other tribes, they hated the Prophet and his family. They despised Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Because they realized that their big men, their warriors were killed at the hands of Imam Ali alayhi salam. They did not like the Ahlul Bayt. The Ahlul Bayt had very little supporters in Mecca. And that's such a depressing, sad reality. It got so bad, this is going to shock you. It got so bad during the time of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. The Sunni scholar Ibn Abi al-Hadid al-Mu'tazili, in his commentary on Nahj al-Balagha, he says, Imam Zayn al-Abidin said the following in his era. He says, ما بمكة والمدينة 20 رجل يحبنا أهل البيت. According to this report, Imam Zayn al-Abidin said, in all of Mecca and Medina at the time, there aren't 20 men who love us, the Ahlul Bayt. Can you imagine? And the Quran asked one thing from this ummah. The Prophet, when they asked him, how can we compensate you? He asked for one thing by the instruction of God. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. I ask you for no wage except to love my family. Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, in Mecca there aren't 20 men who love us, Ahlul Bayt. That's the result of the Umayyad propaganda. All the hatred that they harbored against the Prophet's family for standing up to the truth. There are times when you stand up to the truth, you will be abandoned. People around you at work, you can get fired. You will not reach top positions. That happens. That's part of life. It's costly to be with the truth. But the truth is very valuable. If at times you feel lonely because of that, just remember the statement of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. So then if Imam Hussain alayhi salam didn't have that many supporters in Mecca, why did he go to Mecca when he left Medina? The primary reason is because now people were coming from all over the Muslim world to Mecca for the Hajj season. Because starting in the month of Rajab and then Sha'ban, Ramadan, these are the Hajj months. Back then it took people months and weeks to travel to get to Mecca. So the Imam alayhi salam wanted to meet Muslims from all around the Muslim Ummah to let them know that he has refused to pledge allegiance to Yazid. He wanted to broadcast his revolution to the world. He wanted to show Muslims that he's standing up against the oppressors. He wants to defend the rights of the oppressed. And this was the perfect opportunity in Mecca to do that. Many people had gathered in Mecca for the Hajj season. So the Imam took advantage of that opportunity. This is why he chose the city of Mecca. So the Imam alayhi salam goes to the city of Mecca. Where does he stay in the city of Mecca? Because Imam Hussain didn't have a house in Mecca. Imam Ali alayhi salam did not have a house in Mecca. According to Al-Dhahabi, a Sunni scholar, he says Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he went to Mecca, he stayed in the house of his great uncle Al-Abbas. Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had a house in Mecca, and so Imam Hussain alayhi salam went to his house and he stayed there. Imam Hussain now settles in Mecca. All eyes are on him. There were two people who were disturbed by that, two groups. One of them, obviously, the Umayyads. They're like, oh, he's left Medina, now he's in Mecca. It's difficult to fight him in Mecca. There are all these Muslims coming from around the world. It's the Hajj season. It's much more difficult to confront him. So the Umayyads were really disappointed, were really upset that Imam Hussain alayhi salam found his way to Mecca. There was another group, another person who was upset because Imam Hussain alayhi salam went to Mecca. Who is that person? That is Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the second cousin of Imam Hussain. You know Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awam? Az-Zubayr was a warrior who defended the Prophet and Imam Ali, peace be upon them. But then he had a son by the name of Abdullah. When Abdullah started to grow up, he destroyed his father's religion. He started whispering evil thoughts into the head of his father. He told his father, why is Ali ibn Abi Talib the caliph now? You're better than Ali ibn Abi Talib. What does he have that you don't have? He instigated his father, Az-Zubayr, to go and side with Aisha at the battle of Jamal to fight Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And subhanallah, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he made a very disappointing statement here about Az-Zubayr. The Imam says, مَا زَالَ الزُّبَيْرُ مِنَّا أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ حَتَّى نَشَأَ وَلَدُهُ الْمَشْؤُومُ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ. The Imam says, Az-Zubayr was one of us, the Ahl al-Bayt. He was always there, willing to defend us, until his wretched son Abdullah grew up. And this is a lesson for us, my dear brothers and sisters. Inshallah, all of you here, alhamdulillah, you have good families and good children. But one of your trials in life is that when you grow older and your children are growing older, sometimes your children pressure you to compromise your values, to make wrong decisions. Beware. That's one of your tests in life. In fact, the Holy Quran has a very powerful verse here. Not sure if some of us can handle that. In one verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, beware, some of your family members can be your own enemies who are destroying your faith and spirituality. Don't let that happen. Because many times we love our children, we give them the benefit of the doubt, we allow them to have a big sway over us. They influence us. That's what happened to Az-Zubayr. So his son Abdullah, he despised the Ahlul Bayt. He was very uncomfortable that Imam Hussain alayhi salam had come to Mecca. And he had taken Mecca as his base to fight Yazid. Now Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he was fighting Yazid, but for personal reasons. He wanted to be the ruler. He wanted to be the Khalifa. When Imam Hussain came to Mecca, he took the spotlight from him. And that bothered him. But the Imam alayhi salam comes to the city of Mecca. And now the Imam alayhi salam prepares for the journey of Karbala from Mecca. Among the important activities that Imam Hussain alayhi salam does is that he sends a letter to the people of Basra. At the time, Iraq had two main cities, Kufa and Basra. The Imam alayhi salam sends them a letter with one of his companions by the name of Sulaiman Mawla al-Hussein, or Sulaiman ibn Ruzayn. The Imam tells him, take my letter to the people of Basra. They're not ready to support me. Perhaps maybe they can read my letter and they can stand up to the tyrant of their time. So the Imam sends them a letter and he tells them, look, the sunnah of the Prophet has been killed. And look at all these innovations and bid'ahs. And I am your Imam. I'm inviting you to support me. Now, who was the governor of Basra at the time? Ibn Ziyad. You've heard of Ibn Ziyad? Before he went to Kufa, he was based in Basra. He was the governor in Basra. So the Imam was telling them, don't support your evil governor. All you have to do is stop him and we can go to Kufa. We can establish justice on earth. What happened to Sulaiman, the messenger of Imam Hussain alayhi salam? Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam sends Sulaiman, they capture him, they take him to Ibn Ziyad with the letter. Ibn Ziyad immediately has him assassinated in cold blood. And therefore, Sulaiman is the first shaheed on the journey to Karbala. If you were to ask who's the first martyr who was killed in the way of defending Imam Hussain alayhi salam, it is Sulaiman ibn Ruzayn, even before Muslim ibn Aqil. And on this night, we pay tribute to this great warrior who risked his life for the sake of Islam, for the sake of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So no one from Basra really at that time was willing to show any support to Imam Hussain. But Kufa was a different story. When Imam Hussain was in Mecca, every single day he would receive 600 letters from Kufans. 600 letters every single day. Can you imagine? Oh Imam, come to us. We're waiting for you. We have hundreds of thousands of people willing to support you. All you need to do is come. Please come. So Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he sees the people of Kufa begging him to go, he writes them a letter with his cousin Muslim ibn Aqil. He tells them, Muslim, I want you to go to Kufa, take my letter and tell them, okay, come and give allegiance and I shall come. So the Imam alayhi salam dispatches Muslim ibn Aqil to go to Kufa. He leaves on the 15th of the month of Ramadan. 20 days later, on the 5th of Shawwal, he reaches the land of Kufa. He sees tens of thousands of people gathering in Kufa, welcoming Muslim ibn Aqil. Oh, you are the ambassador of Hussein. We are waiting for Hussein. Where is he? Why doesn't he come? He told them, I represent him. Now, give me your allegiance. Let's unite. Once I see that you've all united and you're willing to support Imam Hussain, I will ask him to come. When Muslim ibn Aqil sees this overwhelming show of support, he writes a letter to Imam Hussain. He tells him, Imam, I have 18,000 people who pledged me allegiance. They're waiting for you in Kufa. Come, the timing is ripe. But you know, subhanallah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam was not deceived by any of this. He knew the fate that awaited for him. You know why? Because when Imam Hussain dispatched Muslim ibn Aqil, he told him, go to Kufa and see if they're willing to support us. However, I ask Allah to give you and me the status of shahada and martyrdom. In other words, Imam Hussain was telling Muslim, don't look at the numbers. They will betray us. And our end is martyrdom and shahada. But Muslim, he saw 18,000 people giving him allegiance. That's a big number for them to physically come and put their hand in his hand. So when Imam Hussain alayhi salam received the letter of Muslim ibn Aqil, he realized that now it's his obligation to go to Kufa. Because if he would not go, they would say, oh, we told Hussein to come and save us from Yazid and the corruption of Yazid, but he refused. They would have blamed everything on Imam Hussain. So Imam Hussain had no choice but to go to Kufa. So the Imam was determined to find the right timing to leave Mecca and to go to Iraq. Now, while Imam Hussain alayhi salam was Mecca, he issued many very important speeches. And in the speeches of Imam Hussain, you see the Imam alayhi salam giving beautiful advice to the people. All these Muslims who had gathered there for the Hajj season. History has documented 2 of Imam Hussein's speeches in Mecca. And I would like to share with you snippets from the speeches of Imam Hussain to be inspired by his words of wisdom. To see how the Imam alayhi salam, even in difficult times, he always reminded people of their destination, of their obligations, always giving them beautiful, good advice. In the first speech of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he said the following, beautiful words of wisdom from your Imam. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thanking God, the Imam alayhi salam states, الموت على ولد آدم مخط القلادة على جيد الفتاة. The Imam alayhi salam states, death surrounds the neck of the human being. Death surrounds the children of Adam just like a necklace surrounds the neck of a girl. Very interesting description from Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Why would he describe death as a beautiful necklace around the neck of a girl? Why? What's the wisdom behind this description? First of all, by using this description, the Imam is telling you, look, there is no escape from death. Death is something that awaits us all. There's no escape from it. Just like a necklace surrounds you, your neck, you are surrounded by death. There is no escape. It's a vivid example that he was giving to his listeners. Secondly, a necklace is beautiful, right? It's an adornment. It beautifies the person who's wearing it. And so the Imam alayhi salam is communicating to us, if you are a believer on the path of God, death beautifies you. Death is a beautiful ending if you're on the path of God. Death is not something that you run away from. The reason why we hate death is because we have not made the effort to prepare for it. That's why we despise death. Otherwise, death is like graduation. For those serious students who have straight A's, do they dread their day of graduation or do they look forward to it? People have graduation parties, right? You look forward to it because you're graduating from one dimension in your life to another dimension. Which student dreads the day of graduation? Which student hates graduation day? Those who failed. Right? They do not look forward to the day of graduation. They despise it. They run away from it. Why? Because they're not prepared. Death is graduation for the mu'min. You graduate from dunya and you embrace the akhirah. That's what death is. And if you have prepared yourself, it's a beautiful graduation. And so the Imam alayhi salam uses this beautiful term to describe death. It's like a beautiful necklace. It adorns you if you have prepared yourself. It's not something that you should hate. You're going back to Allah, a merciful Lord, but you have to be prepared. And it's not that difficult to be prepared. One day, according to a hadith, the angel of death descended on Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim told him, have you come to visit me? Or have you come to take my soul, my life? He told him, Ibrahim, no, this time I've come for your soul. Your time's up. Ibrahim had the honorary title of being Khalilur Rahman, the friend of God, the one chosen by God. So Ibrahim presents the angel of death with a very tough question that the angel of death did not know how to respond to. He told him, Ya Malak al-Maut, هل رأيت خليلا يميت خليله? Ibrahim, aren't I the friend of God? He told him, yeah, you're the friend of God. He told him, have you seen a friend who makes his friend die? The angel of death didn't know what to say to him. What an interesting objection. What do I say to you? So he stops. He leaves. He says to Allah, oh Allah, you heard the conversation. You heard what Ibrahim said. I don't know what to respond to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angel of death, go and tell Ibrahim the following. وَهَلْ رَأَيْتَ حَبِيبًا يَكْرَهُ لِقَاءَ حَبِيبِهِ. The angel of death came to Ibrahim. He told him, I've got a response for you from God. He told him, what's the response? He says, Allah says, and have you seen a Habib, a beloved, someone who's in love, who hates to meet his beloved? Death is that meeting between you and your beloved. You are going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the angel of death says that to Ibrahim, Ibrahim says, Ya Allah, take my soul. He tells the angel of death, take my soul. I want to now go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the graduation for the believer. And that's why Imam Hussain alayhi salam describes death as a necklace. Because it beautifies the one who's on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hence Imam Hussain alayhi salam famously stated, إِنِّي لَا أَرَى الْمَوْتَ إِلَّا سَعَادَةً. I see death as nothing but what? Happiness. A source of joy. Nothing but success. And I see life with the oppressors as nothing but humiliation. If I live and I have to accept the oppression of Yazid and I can't defend the oppressed, this life is not worth living. My dear brothers and sisters, those people around the world who don't care about the suffering of those children starving, literally starving in Gaza right now. Now there are a lot of people who care, they just don't know what to do. They pray, they try to pressure, they do something. That's wonderful, you're doing your part. There are a lot of people, there are many people who consider themselves Muslims. They don't care what's happening in Gaza. It doesn't matter. This life that you live, and you do not care about the oppressed, this life, according to the legacy of Imam Hussain, is not worth living. This is humiliation. You could be rich, you could have trillions of dollars, but you are in abject humiliation. Look at the irony, brothers and sisters. Some of these countries, they have trillions of dollars to invest. But with all their trillions, they can't save just a few thousand children in Gaza from starving. Show me more humiliation than that in history. Where you have trillions of dollars, you can't save a few babies from dying. Is this life worth living? The Imam alayhi salam therefore changes the perspective of mu'mineen about life and death. If you're on God's obedience, you care about humanity, you're willing to stand up for justice, that's the best life. That's a beautiful necklace that adorns you. And death is also a beautiful necklace that adorns you because you're on the path of God and the path of justice. And if you're not on this path, you're in humiliation. So that's how the Imam alayhi salam starts his speech. And then the Imam alayhi salam states, وَمَا أَوْلَهَنِي إِلَىٰ أَسْلَافِي اشْتِيَاقَ يَعْقُوبَ إِلَىٰ يُوسُف. Then the Imam says, and I miss dearly my family members who have passed away. You know, Imam Hussain was the fifth of Ashab al-Kisa, the people of the cloak. He was the last of them. He says, I miss them just like Yaqub missed Yusuf. Imagine the emotional agony in the heart of Imam Hussain. Missing his grandfather Rasulullah, his father Amir al-Mu'mineen, his mother Fatima, his brother Hassan. It's as if the Imam is saying, I don't want to stay in this dunya anymore. I don't want to stay in this ugly world. I want to join the Ashab al-Kisa. I want to join my immediate family. And then the Imam foreshadows his death in Karbala. He says, كَأَنِّي بِأَوْصَالِي تُقَطِّعُهَا عُسْلَانُ الْفَلَوَاتِ بَيْنَ النَّوَاوِيسِ وَكَرْبَلَا. It's as if I can see my body parts being cut into pieces around Karbala, in the deserts and the plains of Karbala. But oh Imam, do you reject that if that's your fate? If that's the only way to save Islam, do you reject that? Allah. Here is where you see the greatness of Imam Hussain. He says, رضا الله رضانا أهل البيت نصبر على بلائه ويوفينا أجور الصابرين. If Allah is pleased, we're pleased. God's satisfaction is our satisfaction. If this pleases God, I'm happy. I have no objection to the will of God. If you want peace of mind in your life, if you want to protect your mental health, accept the will that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Accept what Allah has decided for you. Once a young man came to me. He told me, Sayyid, there's one thing that I cannot accept in my life. I told him what? He told me, I'm angry at God for giving me the parents that He has given me. I hate my parents. I can't stand them. I wish I had a different set of parents. Now, I'm not here to judge this young man. I don't know what he's going through. You know, what kind of parents he has. Are they toxic parents? Are they good parents? Maybe he's toxic. I don't know. But what I said to him, I told him, let me ask you a question. Did you choose your parents? He's like, no, of course. I would never choose parents like that. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I told him, okay, so who chose your parents for you? He said, well, obviously Allah chose my parents. I told him, would God choose something bad for you? It's your trial. Work on yourself. This is your trial. This is the trial that Allah has decided for you. It could be a family trial. It could be a health trial. It could be any type of trial. But if something has been decided for you by Allah, accept it. And that's what Imam Hussain communicates in this beautiful sermon. رضا الله رضانا أهل البيت. If there's something that you don't like in your life, be patient. It's okay. Allah decided that for you. Yeah, there are some things you can control. You can change. There's a bad friend who's making you deviate. Habibi, get rid of that friend. You don't need a friend who's going to destroy your faith and spirituality and take you away from your family. That's my choice. I can decide whom I'm going to associate with. But there are some things in life you can't choose, you can't change. Those are determined by Allah. Accept them. Realize that it's good for you to go through this trial. Once you accept the trial, you will be at peace. You will protect your own mental health. رضا الله رضانا أهل البيت. نصبر على بلائه ويوفينا أجور الصابرين. We will be patient with the trials that afflict us, and Allah will fully reward us. And then here Imam Hussain alayhi salam in Mecca, he extends his invitation to all those who want to support his message. فَمَنْ كَانَ بَاذِلًا فِينَا مُهْجَةً. If you're willing to give us your heart, the blood of your heart, مُوَطِّنًا عَلَى لِقَاءِ اللَّهِ نَفْسَهِ. If you're willing to meet Allah and go to the path of martyrdom, فَلْيَلْحَقْ بِنَا, then come and join us. فَإِنِّي رَاحِلٌ مُصْبِحًا إِنْ شَاء اللَّهِ. Tomorrow I'm leaving. The Imam alayhi salam said this on the 7th of Dhul Hijjah, 2 days before Hajj. Tomorrow I'm leaving. If you want to join me, come and join me. This was one of the beautiful speeches that Imam Hussain alayhi salam gave in Mecca. The Imam also gave another beautiful speech, full of virtues, full of lessons. I'll summarize for you some beautiful passages from this sermon. In this sermon, the Imam ﷺ states, Al-hilmu zina. Patience is a source of beauty for the human being. Many times, my dear brothers and sisters, we think that if we want to be strong and successful, we have to act tough. Especially the guys, right? Let's face it, some of us have a distorted understanding of what masculinity is. And we think masculinity means to be aggressive, to act tough, show no mercy, use profane language. That's how you prove that you're a man. Isn't it so? That's what social media tells us these days. Imam Hussain ﷺ says, no, that's not the case. You know what really makes you a man and beautifies you as a human being? To be patient, to be forbearing and forgiving. And it's not easy. One of your hardest trials in this world is to stop yourself from seeking revenge, from reacting when you're raging. Moments of rage destroy our lives. I've seen marriages fall apart because of one moment of rage. Friendships getting destroyed because of rage. The Imam ﷺ states, Al-hilmu zina. Do you want to adorn yourself and your personality and be a beautiful human being? All you have to do is be patient. That's where you show your true self-worth. Not by reacting and acting tough and aggressive. Whose path are you following when you're trying to act aggressive? Like one brother, they had a problem in the family and he was very aggressive. I told him, why are you aggressive? You seem to be a decent person. Why are you acting so aggressive in the house, especially with your wife? It's like, Sayyid, I need to constantly remind her who's the husband, who's the man in the house. I told him, whose path are you following? You want to show her who's the man in the house? Show her a strong sense of responsibility. Make her feel safe. Show your family that you'll protect them. You'll be a source of guidance for them. That's how you show them that you're a man. Not through being aggressive. Being aggressive will never solve any of your problems. Now, sometimes some men, they're intimidating and their family's scared of them and they think they've got everything in control. If you're in the house and your family's scared of you, right? They're trying to avoid pushing your buttons because they fear you. There's no true love in this family. That's not the path that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for you. There's no sukoon and tranquility in this family. So the Imam states, Al-hilmu zina. And then the Imam states, Wal-wafa'u muru'a. You want to know what's manhood? In other words, what really makes you a human being? Muru'a in Arabic doesn't mean manhood as in being a male. No, it means like being a true human being. Loyalty. Loyalty is muru'a. It defines you as a human being. One of the best qualities to have, brothers and sisters, is to be loyal. Loyal to those who served you, who treated you well, who were there for you when you needed them. One of the greatest qualities of our beloved Prophet was his wafa. He would never forget those who were good to him, good to his family. Long after Lady Khadija alayhi salam passed away, when the Prophet was in Medina, his friends and his family noticed that he would give a lot of assistance to old ladies. He would give them food, assistance. So one day someone objected to the Prophet. He told him, Ya Rasulullah, who are these old ladies that you keep helping? They haven't done anything special for you. Why are you giving them special treatment? Listen to what the Prophet said. The Prophet said, they are the friends of my wife Khadija. And I loved my wife Khadija. In honor of Khadija, I will be good to them till the rest of my life. That's loyalty. If there are people in the community who were good to your parents, who stood with your family in times of difficulty, don't forget them. Many times we forget. When I need someone and they do me a favor, I respect them, I'm kind, I'm willing to help them out. But the day I feel powerful and I don't need anyone else, I forget about everyone else. Is that loyalty? Is that loyalty? One of my friends once told me in another state, he told me, Sayyid, at one point I was very well off, I was doing well, I had good businesses. I had so many friends. Like there was a whole line of friends trying to befriend me. And I really thought that they were my friends. Like, nice, I have all these friends. Years later, he gets into a car accident. His health is now affected. And then he gets hit by one trial after another trial. He loses his businesses. He loses his money. He falls into debt. He told me, Sayyid, I went to people whom I had given a loan of $50,000 so they can buy a house. That much assistance. I told them, can I borrow $5,000? I'm struggling to feed my children, my family. He's like, Sayyid, not one of my tens of friends gave me a single dollar. He's like, that day I really knew who my real friends are. These people were there because of my status. A sign of Iman is to be loyal to your parents who served you. Even if now you have a misunderstanding with your parents, never forget the days that they sacrificed for you. Loyalty means you honor them. That's a sign of being a human being. These are the words of Imam Hussain. Remember, before Karbala, these are the activities of your Imam, the words of your Imam. The Imam ﷺ didn't go to a physical battleground only. The Imam ﷺ was transforming the souls and the personalities. And then the Imam ﷺ states, وَالْعَجَلَةُ سَفَةٌ. Being hasty is a sign of foolishness. We live in a culture of instant gratification. We want instant results. The Imam says that's a sign of foolishness. Don't be hasty. Always restrain yourself. But we live in an era, we act on impulse. We want everything instantly. We want instant results. We have no time to wait, no patience to wait. You see something on Amazon, you need to pay more so it gets delivered in the next 3 hours. You're gonna die if it doesn't get delivered in the next 3 hours. We've lost patience. We want everything instantaneously. The Imam ﷺ says, a sign of intellect, of being a sound human being, is not to be hasty. Hastiness is foolishness. So it's a very beautiful sermon. I just shared with you some parts of it. These are some of the words of your Imam in Mecca. And then the Imam ﷺ, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, he shocks the Muslim world. When all pilgrims are arriving in Mecca, the Imam ﷺ departs the city of Mecca on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, one day before Hajj. People are shocked. Many of us wonder, why, Imam? Couldn't you do your Hajj and then leave? So why did Imam Hussain ﷺ leave Mecca on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah? There are two primary reasons. Number one, the Imam did not want to get killed by the Kaaba. When he was asked, why are you leaving? He said, the Umayyads will assassinate me here. They had sent 30 secret assassins to kill Imam Hussain. And the Imam says, Masjid al-Haram is a holy place. The Kaaba is a holy place. I don't want my blood to be spilled here. I have to leave Mecca. They will kill me in Mecca if I stay. Number two, the Imam was saying to the world, what's the value of your Hajj? When you have accepted the injustice of Yazid, there is no value to such Hajj. That's another reason why the Imam ﷺ leaves one day before the Hajj. The Hajj is an act of worship for Allah, right? If you've accepted the injustice of Yazid, you think this Hajj has any value? It's just a ritual now, robots going around the Kaaba. The true Hajj means it inspires you to stand up against injustice. SubhanAllah, look at the Muslim world today. I'm not going to say more than that. The fact that Imam Hussain left on that day says a lot, my dear brothers and sisters. Read between the lines. The Muslim Ummah, sometimes they're very happy. They're very proud of their achievements. Really? An achievement? When your children are dying in Gaza, that's an achievement? So the Imam ﷺ leaves the city of Mecca on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. From there, He goes through a number of stations before he reaches Karbala. Inshallah, in the next 2 nights, I will walk you through many of these stations and the important events that happened on this beautiful, powerful, historic journey from Mecca to Karbala. Now I want you to take your hearts to the 2nd of Muharram. Imam Hussain leaves Mecca. He goes through a number of villages. He arrives Karbala on the 2nd of Muharram, a day like today. When the Imam ﷺ arrives in this land, according to Abu Mikhnaf, he has a report that states the following. The Imam was on his horse. His horse refused to move. So the Imam ﷺ, he went down from his horse. He rode on another horse. The horse refused to move. The report says Imam Hussain changed 7 horses on that day. They all refused to move an inch. The Imam knew that this was the land. He knew his fate will be sealed here in this land. So when he realized that the horses are not willing to move, the Imam ﷺ asked his companions. He told them, Ashabi, ma ismu hadhihi al-ard? My dear companions, what's the name of this land? Can you tell me? That area had a number of names. One of them said Al-Ghadiriya. The Imam said, does it have another name? Someone said Nainawa. The Imam ﷺ asked, does it have another name? Someone said Ardul Taf. But the Imam was searching for a word that he had heard from his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Finally, one of his companions, he stands up and he says, Yes, Aba Abdullah, Ismu hadhihi al-ard Karbala. One of the names of this land is Karbala. When Imam Hussain heard the word Karbala, he broke into tears. Ya Allah, imagine what happened to the heart of your Imam. And he said, Ilahi, a'udhu bika min al-karbi wal-bala. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from Karb and Bala. Karbala is a word that's made of 2 words. Karb, difficulty. Bala, trials and tragedies. And then the Imam ﷺ addressed his companions. He told them, Ashabi, ha huna mahattu rihalina. My dear companions, this is where we shall settle. We're not going to travel anymore. Our fate is going to be here. Then the Imam told them exactly what would happen. Ashabi, ha huna tuqtalu rijaluna. My dear companions, this is where our men are going to be killed. Ashabi, ha huna tudbahu atfaluna. My dear companions, this is where our children are going to get slaughtered. It is here, this land. Ashabi, ha huna tusba nisauna. Ashabi, my companions, this is where our women will be taken as prisoners of war. Ashabi, this is where I will be killed. That's where Abbas will be killed. Imagine Zainab, when she heard Imam Hussain foreshadowing what would happen in Karbala, she collapsed. She said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is how they arrived in the land of Karbala. But there was a little girl in Karbala by the name of Ruqayya. She still felt safe. She still had her father. She still had her uncle Abbas. But oh believers, now take your hearts to the city of Sham and Damascus in Syria. Weeks after Ashura, when the caravan of Imam Hussain is taken into the presence of Yazid, they put them in ruins. They did not give them a proper place to stay. Ruqayya had missed her father dearly. She was very attached to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. She was only 3 or 4. So one night in those ruins, Ruqayya sees a dream. She sees her father Hussain. She misses her father dearly. She wakes up and she breaks into tears. Ruqayya, Habibti, what's the matter with you? I saw my father in my dream. Now I miss him. I just want my father Hussain. Everyone in those ruins, they begin to cry, the women and the children. Yazid hears commotion. So he asks his soldiers, what's going on? What's happening in those ruins in the family of Imam Hussain? They told him it's nothing, no big deal. He says, no, I want to know. They tell him one of the daughters of Hussain, she woke up in the middle of the night. She saw her father in her dream. She misses her father. She cried and everyone's crying for that. Look at his savage, cruel heart. He tells them, then what are you waiting for? Take the head of her father to her. Let her see the head of her father. They put the head of Imam Hussain in a tray. They cover the tray with a piece of cloth. They bring the tray to Ruqayya. She tells them, what is this? Is this food? I didn't ask for food. They told her, Ruqayya, yeah, this is not food. This is what you've been asking for. What I've been asking for, what could it be? Ruqayya, remove the cloth and you'll see what it is. Imagine the little hands of Ruqayya. She goes to the tray, she removes the cloth. She sees the severed head of her father, Hussain. She collapses on the head of Imam Hussain. She hugs the head of Imam Hussain. أبا يا من الذي أيتمني على صغر سني. My dear father, who's the one who orphaned me at this young age? أبا يا من الذي حز وريدك. My dear father, who's the one who cut your head? أبا يا من الذي خضب شيبك. My dear father, who's the one who stained your beard with blood? She kept on crying and crying, hugging the head of her father Hussain, until finally she quieted down. She was calm. No sound was coming from her. The people, the family of Imam Hussain, the women and the children, they thought finally now Ruqayya has some time to rest. At that point, Imam Zain al-Abidin, he calls on his aunt Zainab. He tells her, Zainab, lift my sister from the head of my father. I swear by Allah, she has departed this life. She died on the head of my father Hussain. After Ruqayya dies, Kulthum, her aunt, she brings a lady to wash the body of Ruqayya. She starts washing her, but then she stops. She refuses. Kulthum tells her, why don't you wash the little body of this girl? She says, I'm afraid. She's like, why are you afraid? She's like, she seems to have a disease. There are all these black marks on her body. Kulthum says, Wallah, this is not a disease. So what is this then? She says, on our way from Karbala to Syria, anytime she would cry, Ya Hussain, anytime she would grieve, those evil men would beat her body with the back of the spears and the sticks. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون.
وابتا يا حسين وابتا يا حسين. Everybody stand in the honor of the 3-year-old of Imam Hussain, Sayyidah Ruqayya, Salamullah alayha. Everybody in the honor of Sayyidah Ruqayya. وابتا يا حسين وابتا يا حسين وأبتا يا حسين وأبتا يا حسين وأبتا يا حسين. Everyone. وأبتا وأبتا يا حسين 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 وأبتا. MashaAllah, everybody together, everyone, the youth. وأبتا يا حسين وأبتا يا حسين وأبتا. My guest has arrived, Father, your daughter survived. Father, my guest has arrived, Father, your daughter survived. Father, I can't tell from your dry lips, water was deprived. Father, my guest has arrived, Father, your daughter survived. Father, I can tell from your dry lips, water was deprived. Father, Father, where were you when I cried? I cried your name until I died, until from the spear you replied. Father, where were you when I cried? I cried your name until I died, until from the spear you replied. The bruises on my face, the stutter in my voice, though these pains broke my heart, I don't regret my choice. Baba Hussain, 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 Baba. I looked at the sky, Father, tears rained from my eye. Father, I looked at the sky, Father, tears rained from my eye. Father, my heart broke when in secret I saw Zainab cry. Father, my ribs broke like my grandmother. They laughed at me, cry and stutter. I fell with no shield and cover. My ribs broke like my grandmother. They laughed at me, cry and stutter. I fell with no shield and cover. Your head is filled with dust, my eyes are filled with tears. Your head is filled with dust, my eyes are filled with tears. No girl should ever see her father on the spears. Baba Hussain, Baba Hussain, Baba Hussain. Everyone together. Baba Hussain, Baba Hussain, Hussain, Baba Hussain. Every night I prayed, Father, though I was afraid, Father. Every night I prayed, Father, though I was afraid, Father. I never lost hope, but still I wish that you stayed, Father. Death is the only cure for me, no pain comes close to my story. All this just at the age of 3. Death is the only cure for me, no pain comes close to my story. All this just at the age of 3. When we walked in the streets, forget it, I won't say what they said to Zainab. The scars will always stay. When we walked in the streets, forget it, I won't say what they said to Zainab. The scars will always stay. Your head filled with dust, my eyes are filled with tears. Your head is filled with dust, my eyes are filled with tears. No girl should ever see her father on the spears. Baba Hussain, 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 Baba. فقد حربت إليك روحي وقلبي لديك. فقد حربت إليك روحي وقلبي لديك. صلى الله عليك وجيها عند الله يا أبا عبد الله. ألا وصلى الله عليك يا مولاي ثار الله. حسين 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 حسين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. مسكت الدعاء الفرج together. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك فيها طويلة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وبلغ إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات الفاتحة قبلها صلوات.